Alright, welcome to Align Trading, going over today's SPY recap and live analysis before taking a look at what to be watching into tomorrow. So first thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members today was to be watching for this head and shoulder right here. If we were going to head down, you would need to be seeing us forming that right here, grabbing this liquidity. But you can see in the morning, we closed this inverse cup at this level, and there was no handle for this continuation to the downside, as well as this orange selling continuation, right, did not just continue. So with the failed breakdown there, you can also see how we are still within this blue and yellow controlled selling right there that I explained you have to be paying attention to if we do still want to continue. We have not broken out of this green algo yet either. And on the way up, right, you see how this blue and yellow continues to work right here. So have to be paying attention to that. But again, not too amused, we are just trapped within a range for the entirety of the day, as we have consistently been doing right here. Not much to really do within this. Sure, you can scalp it, but it is tough. So that being said, if you have been struggling, it is okay. This is not an environment where you're going to be able to hit those home run trades, and you don't need to try and be a hero in this stuff. But all that being said, you still can find your trades. Just for those who are less experienced, you need to understand what you are doing and the concepts within these sort of days and how to trade them specifically. So if we go to the 1 minute chart, which we're going to go over now, you can see how we are within this range for the entirety of the day. Now we did get this breakdown here at the end of the day, but for most of it, right? Taking a closer look now at the microstructure algorithms here off of the open, you can see we have this yellow and blue controlled selling algorithm, and we start to form this inverse head and shoulder right there, as well as that cup and handle. So you're paying attention to this blue algo, and you see how we form that right here for that initial move up. So with this breakout right here, we are looking for that continuation if this blue and yellow continues to form right there. But you can see we do not get that, and instead we start to form this head and shoulder, grabbing this liquidity that is back down here, as well as that inverse cup and handle. And you see another head and shoulder right there within this yellow algorithm. But at this point right here, you can see we're starting to taper within this blue algo. And I explained that you have to be paying attention to this shoulder right here if we do want to form this inverse head and shoulder on the way back up. And you can see how we eventually do form that, but we must build some more liquidity right here. And I did explain you have to be looking for this handle continuation below the low of day, and you see how we close that inverse cup, try to form this handle within the white, but eventually, right, there is no handle to the downside, and we cannot continue closing, right, this head and shoulder right there. Like we talked about earlier, this blue and yellow controlled selling with that inverse head and shoulder can still be forming right here along with that shoulder of liquidity. And you see, right, how we start to form that with this inverse head and shoulder. And then if you miss it again, right, there is that cup and handle on the way back up as we close this cup back here. Now with that cup, I explained you have to be looking for that handle within the blue and yellow, and you can see how we start to form that right here. There's also a smaller cup and handle within that as well, and there is the breakout of that level. If you were looking to short this, pay attention because as I explained right here, it did not quite form yet, but you see how eventually it does start to form, and we do finally break below this level. We also have this tapering right here as well, and another inverse cup and handle, right? Smaller head and shoulder. And you can see how we close that inverse cup. Tiny, tiny handle, and there is that move to the downside, which eventually closes that cup back at the low of day. And then from there, we are now looking for another handle, like I explained, to break down. You can see, right, that no handle formed, And like I'm explaining, you have to be breaking that level or it is still not going to head down quite yet. And you see that inverse cup with that handle that is starting to form here. And we eventually start to break out of the green at the end of the day. But it takes some time right there to create that flag. You can see now, at this point right here, I'm explaining that if we want to head up, be looking for us to hold above this level right here, as we can still grab this liquidity right here, as we have often done this week, right, heading back up from the bottom of this range, but we do not get that continuation that fails, and we do not form this inverse head and shoulder, as well as this is finally forming this larger handle right there. We close the cup back at the low of day once again, and then there is no handle for that continuation, and we end up within this mess for quite some time right here. Now you can see though with this right here on the 30-minute chart, as I'm explaining, with that inverse cup and handle I talked about, if we do want to head down, be looking for that, otherwise have to be seeing blue and yellow. And we looked like maybe we were going to try and head up, but on the 1-minute chart, right, we're unable to get back above this level that we talked about and try and form that inverse head and shoulder, and we continue in this downtrend, right? Now going over what to be watching into tomorrow, you can see that we have this 5-day moving average just below, and this head and shoulder that is starting to form here, but again, this level comes back into play. You can see that we did start to bounce off of it here at the end of the day. However, post market, right, we are down. So we will see where we open, as we do have some news in the morning. So could be close to this 5-day. Pay attention to that. If we do open there, could start to see that inverse head and shoulder back above for a rally if we do want to defend this gap in 5-day. Otherwise, right, look for the resistance at the 5-day, closing that inverse cup, and we can look for the gap close. We get below the gap, well, then we can head all the way down to here, closing this inverse cup, and then I would expect a bounce handle if we are going to head down, where we form something like that. Now, this will take time, but that is the overall path of what to be looking for. So with the algos, you can see, right, how we would form that within this yellow and blue controlled selling right here. If we did want to build that, even with this orange, right, you can see how that liquidity will build. Otherwise, right, be watching for us breaking down out of this green, and you'll be wanting to see us continuing to form these handles on the way down right here. Same thing right here, right, with that green and white. Now, the reason we are looking for this 5-day moving average retest is we have reached this upper Bollinger here on the daily chart, which we have been talking about, and this is our range between the upper Bollinger and 5-day moving average now, and so we are now looking for that retest of the 5-day for either another bounce and continuation, or we do want to take a break from this rally we've had and begin heading back down to this 20-day. Now we can see two things acting as support right here, this gap and that 5-day. So pay attention if we do see some sort of controlled selling, right? You see how we have this flag right here on the way up, and we still can continue if this upper Bollinger and 5-day want to. But that is all I have for the video. So thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see members in the morning.